All right, guys, welcome back to the WCA Pro Qualifier. We've just had our first qualifier of today, Stan Cifka, going through to Gamescom next week. Up next, we have one of the best players in the world. We have Kolento from Cloud9 taking on Vortex from Lowland Lions, sorry.
Oh yeah, a Dutchman there doing well at Assembly. He had kind of a bad run at DreamHack Summer. But yeah, the lineup, if we talk about the lineups, Hunter, Warrior, Warlock against Hunter, Warrior, Warlock again. Yeah, the most standard lineup so far. Probably going to be Patron, I think, a lot of it in the series.
Warlock, Warrior, Hunter, these are the classes that are really dominating Conquest right now. Very often we see at least two of these classes come into people's lineups. Speaking of Vortex, for example, a guy who's up and coming through the scene. He had success at Assembly, like you said, but still kind of find success in other events. I did watch him in the Ding It Invitational. I was casting that event, and one thing I noticed about him, he had very good mechanical play. But Kolento, what can you say about Kolento?
I guess, yeah, if we look at the how they've done in the past 2 months, Kolento, 18 wins, 7 losses, 72% win. Whereas Vortex has 3 wins, 5 losses, which would be a 38% win. So things looking better for Kolento recently. I actually met up with Vortex at DreamHack Summer. It was a bit of a fun situation on day one, and I started talking to him, and introduced myself because we met before, and it actually turned out to be his identical brother who also plays Hearthstone. He was also at DreamHack, and they were wearing the same team jersey and looked completely identical. It was impossible to separate the two. But yeah, we should have the bracket up right now, actually. So Stan Cifka is through. I'm going to have Kolento versus Vortex right now, and after that, Höy versus Show. And the winner of those are going to be playing for a spot to join Stan Cifka at Gamescom, so it should be exciting there.
I actually want to go back to Vortex a moment. I did say that Lowland Lions was his team, but actually Faye Takama picked him up.
Oh, yeah.
Faye Takama is a very interesting team because Faye Takama actually picked up a lot of the up-and-coming pros. We got Cypher from the UK, one of the guys from my country. Defalor, Vortex.
There's Game King as well.
King,
Hawkeye, but a very strong lineup, and also they picked up Holtz from iHeartU there. I guess, yeah, they have everything going for them except their team shirts. I've gotta bring that up. I'm sorry, Holtz, but yeah. So we get game number 1 here: Hunter versus Warlock. Now it looks to be mid Hunter against what looks to be Handlock. So right off the bat, it's looking bad for Vortex here. Kolento with the mid Hunter and Vortex with the Handlock, unfortunately. The thing is, Shadow Flame is actually a key card in this matchup, but he's not keeping in the starting hand.
Do you know what I saw in Kolento's mulligan, which we don't see very often these days?
I think it was Stampeding Kodo, right?
Stampeding Kodo.
Oh, yeah.
That's an old school card. It had a big run in mid Paladin before GVG came out, where people were using Humility and Aldo Peacekeeper to Stampede a Coda as some form of hard removal. But since then, it hasn't really seen much play, especially in Hunter. So interesting Kolento has picked that card.
Only countered that damn Shielded Minipot, yeah.
Maybe the appearance of Aggro Paladin in the metagame now, he's figured, you know what, I can put in Stampeding Coda. It has a place in this deck now. It can take out those pesky low drops that might be giving his deck a bit of trouble.
Oh yeah, I really like this Owl here. It's a strong play on turn 2 from Handlock. You want to play a 2-drop preferably and into a 4-drop, like I've been talking about, against these pressure decks here. Second Mad Scientist coming down though, so that may be working in Kolento's favor a bit. I think there's nothing but... actually, if we Dark Bombs the Mad Scientist and attacks, this could be looking good.
And he could get his Owl back, depending on what trap. We already see a Freezing Trap in Kolento's hand, so it might be safe to say he's running another Freezing, but there could be the option of teching in another trap, Explosive. You said earlier in the cast that Snipe has started becoming quite popular, just being experimented with Misdirection as well, so we'll have to see what else Kolento's got cooking in his Hunter deck.
Yeah, I think it was either Tap or Dark Bomb. I don't like this Enfury. It plays so heavily into a bow or almost anything actually.
Or a Quick Shot.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't use a Quick Shot here. I think it'd have to be abusive and juggler there instead, as a Quick Shot is more of a finisher. But yeah, I mean, not looking too smooth here for Vortex.
He's hovering over that quick shot. He's considering it, and then if he quick shots it, he can push the damage with abusive. But you said you like the juggler more. Is there any particular reason? It's just developing more of a board? Is that what you're more interested in?
Well, it also it brings out another trap. Let's say that Kolento top takes the second trap, you know? It would be lights out almost in terms of that. But he could now top take a second trap for that reason. Yeah, I mean, overall also, it just saves the burst damage for the late game. Some possibilities also, I guess, to, you know, draw with the quick shot, which he doesn't really have now.
Another thing to consider here, that Vortex actually drew a Hellfire. So if Kolento had committed the Knife Juggler last turn, he would have really opened himself up to a Hellfire.
Oh yeah.
But it looks like he's just going to Dark Bomb here. Fetch the other trap. There might not be any other traps left, but there is the... oh no, the other scientist was silent, so of course he's going to get his first trap here. We're yet to see any other traps in the deck, because obviously the freezing trap remains in Kolento's hand. So Kolento's going to be pushing more aggression here, fires a hero power, drops that juggler, and pushes some more damage through.
The thing is though, if Vortex had used the Dark Bomb instead of the Sun Fury earlier, he could now play the Lotheb without having the fear of just it being bounced.
Yeah, he's got a bit of an awkward turn here. Does he still commit removal?
I think it's going to be either Hellfire or Instant Watcher Sun Fury. I mean, Instant Watcher Sun Fury wouldn't be bad. It plays around a lot of things, and it's going to be likely that you can proc the trap with the Sun Fury and get that back. It's actually going to be good if you get it back, yeah.
Yeah, it puts that thought into Kolento's head. Does he really want to bounce a Sun Fury back into Vortex's hand? He does opt for the tap here, so that play is no longer available, and he just goes for the Dark Bomb on the Knife Juggler. So if he had gone for the Sun Fury Ancient Watcher play, like I said, he would have had an option to maybe make Kolento waste some of his damage, like that bow, for example, to push through that Ancient Watcher. But he just goes for the Lotheb here, locking out any potential spells. And
yeah, I'm not liking Vortex's play at all actually this season. This game here, I don't know, like, he's not going for the aggression when he needs to. He's being indecisive, going back and forth on his game plan, and it's just not working out for him at all.
I mean, Vortex did say he knew he was going to go into this matchup and it was going to be tough. And if he wants to be the best, he said, he needs to beat the best.
Oh yeah.
So he was excited to have this opportunity, not to just to play in the WCA, but also to play against Kolento. So he says he's confident as well that he has what it takes to make the last 4 players. But how do you, so far you haven't been too impressed with his line of play?
Yeah, as a Handlock specialist myself, I just cannot agree with a lot of these choices. I feel like the Dark Bomb instead of the Sun Fury was an obvious one there. But now he's going to have to settle for, yeah, a weak play as it's just not to die, I guess. I like the Lotheb better than the Sun Fury Taunt, but I would like to see him to go for Sun Fury Taunt last turn. Now, Kill Command is exactly what Kolento needed. He's just going to be going for face here. I don't see any reason not to. As the Kill Command follow-up, I don't know what they can draw here to get him out of this one.
So that freezing trap's going to protect both his minions from any attacks from this Lotheb from Vortex. Put him down to 2 health. Not even an anti-kill bot would probably make enough difference here. And it looks like Vortex is going to lose this game unless he pulls out some miraculous play that no one sees. But it doesn't look like it. Kolento takes game number 1, and you could say it's almost expected because Kolento is a world-class player, one of the top 5 in the world easily right now. And Vortex is still an up-and-comer. He still has a lot to learn.
Oh yeah, I feel like he's thinking about this one as more of just another tournament, another game. You know, he has so many tournaments already. It's just another one. But for Vortex, it's a big deal. You know, a big commitment. He doesn't get a chance like this every day. So I feel like Kolento is probably a lot more relaxed about this match and is able to play better because of that. You know.
And the one thing to note about Kolento's lineup, he's brought Hunter, Warlock, Warrior. So those, like we've discussed, are really strong classes right now. In other events, he's brought Priest. He's brought Face Hunter, Rogue. So to me, I don't know, that tells me that Kolento is hungry for this event to go back to China and prove to China, you know, he's still got it. He's still one of the best players in the world. And recently, Tedler Celestial took DreamHack Summer. So China has made a big statement to the rest of the world that they're competitors. So I think Kolento would want this event. He'd want to qualify.
Oh, for sure. I think maybe his idea is in terms of these huge open qualifiers and open tournaments, he wants to go for Priest because it's good against aggro. But now here he wants to just go for an all-around lineup too, because he feels he can beat anyone on even footing, so he'll just be playing, I guess, what he feels is the strongest and hardest to counter. Best overall lineup, I feel like. But I mean, Vortex is the same one. I feel like if you're going to face Patron, having Handlock is the way to go for in that position now. We're going to see, yeah, Handlock against Patron. Interesting matchup. This is doable for the Patron, but without the coin, it's tough.
It's a hard matchup in general because he just eventually the Handlock will just set up a wall of minions that Patron don't interact with very well, and it can be a really uphill battle. But the one card in Patron that can really win the game is Throbbing Berserker. Throbbing Berserker, getting that charge, getting that buffed up is probably the most effective way for the Patron to win this matchup. But it is Kolento. It is Kolento, and it's versus Vortex, who is an up-and-comer. So nerves might come into play. We'll have to see. And like you say, you didn't really agree with the line of play from his last Handlock game. So perhaps that will give Kolento the edge in this match.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But Alex Trash and the Handlock is uncommon. Not sure I like that too much. I prefer Jiraxis myself, but it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Alex was kind of an old school edition Handlock. Jiraxis kind of took over. Or I remember some people actually running both, which is a bit greedy, but ultimately Jiraxis has kind of taken the favor.
Yeah, Jiraxis is the passive approach, whereas Alexstrasza is the aggressive one. You get two giants on board and then you just OTK your opponent. But I really like the Dark Bomb. This is looking good for Vortex here.
He's got Twilight Drake coming up now. No silences in Patron traditionally, so Twilight Drake's going to keep its health. It's not going to be dropped down to 1 through the silence effect. So he's going to be able to challenge quite a few minions of the early stage of the Patron turns with this minion. And he's got a Sunfear to follow up. He's got a heal bot if he needs to top himself back up. So he's got some good options. I think the Hellfire is quite important because obviously that's a good way to clear an entire Patron board.
I feel like Hellfire is more of turn 7, turn 8 type of card. So currently I feel like Vortex's hand is really weak. There's no low step, there's no second Twilight Drake, no Mountain Giant. So next turn he's not going to have a good threat really to play.
Do you feel having the Hellfire ready though for that Patron turn has its advantages?
It's fine, but it's going to be a knock position next turn in terms of what to do here. Yeah.
I mean, he has a Watcher, he has a Sun Fury. He could start setting up a bit of a wall.
He needs to put on aggression though in the early mid game. I don't feel like he can just stop playing passively here with and taunting up. I feel like it's the way to go. He has the option of heal, but again, I feel like it's going to have to be tap Ancient Watcher probably next turn.
So Kolento's trying to decide what to do here. He doesn't have an execute available to him for that removal, but he does have the Death Spite, and if he hits this, well, he's going to hit. So he hits the Drake now, so next turn the Death Spite will win effect, will be able to clear out this Drake. And not only that, he has the Unstable Ghoul sitting there to deal a little bit more extra damage, so even a Farseer might, if he's running them, I mean, we've seen them in stand state, we don't know. We've seen Alex in this state, you know, kind of some interesting picks for the Handlocks. I mean, like you said, you're a specialist of this style of deck. How have you felt about the players' kind of tech choices in this event so far?
I don't like the Alex, but other than that, I think Vortex's deck is really solid. I feel like if you didn't have the Dota Boom, you would need to tap. So I like either going for, yeah, if you don't have Dota Boom, you tap and try to get something for next turn. If you do have him, I kind of like heal bot or taunt better. As let's say, you know, something is played now aggressive, you don't really have the option to go with Dota Boom.
Yeah, it makes the Dr. Boom a little bit vulnerable. If this Whirlwind effect is used by this Death Spite, his Boom bots may get a bit of value unless another Whirlwind effect comes into play. But we do see the Unstable Ghoul in Kolento's hand. Boom. At what point do you think Kolento needs to start winning this? Needs to be ahead to start winning this game? Because you say it's a bad matchup. Do you think he has what he has in his hand right now? Do you think he has the potential to win this game?
I think so, but he'll need to top deck an Emperor, I feel, to have a real shot at it. I think I wouldn't mind just battle raging right now and see what he gets.
Yeah, Battle Rage might bring him closer to the pieces he needs to kind of complete the puzzle of Patron. It can be a bit of a puzzle sometimes, trying to work out what you need to win the game. Looks like he's just going to go for double. No, I thought he was hovering over double frog, and then he just goes for the one. Gets it buffed up, playing a few minions here, so just putting a threat on the board.
He wants to drop the second one after, so there's no BGH potential. I love this play from Kolento, well done to him. There is an answer though to this line of play with a Big Game Hunter coin Shadow Flame. It's not strong though. I think it's gonna be what he's gonna have to do. I mean, I can't see a scenario where he could leave those two on board.
And Big Game Hunter doesn't find much value in this matchup, unless they're running Grom, but Grom is a finisher traditionally, and so it doesn't always get the opportunity to be BGH'd. And there was a point where patrons were running Dr. Boom, but that kind of phase in patrons' life has kind of fizzled out. So
oh yeah.
So Big Game Hunter not going to find a lot of value here, and he does see the play. So well played to Vortex. This is the kind of stuff I was saying about Vortex when I watched him at the Dinget. He had a very good decision making and mechanical play, so it's starting to show.
We mentioned though how brilliant this was by Kolento. It was sort of yeah, I guess it's clean to take. I feel like at this point though, I mean, can he do something except just starting to draw with inner rates and battle rates? Going for the cool, okay.
Okay, so he's going to let maybe the Ghoul do some work here in reducing the health of his minions to make this Battle Rage gain some cards.
Should be a snap play with Dr. Boom here, but there is an answer of this though from Vortex with the execute. Second inner rage, wow, okay. I feel like you have to just start probably, yeah. With the patrons here, where you go from there. We get a lot of patrons out of this, but there is the Hellfire potential though.
So you might draw enough cards from the set with another patron turn after the Hellfire. We see the Shadow Flame, so if this Hellfire does clear up this board, which it most likely will, but another patron combo comes straight after, it might be a bit difficult for Vortex to deal with.
I think the main thing is he's going to be drawing a lot of cards now, probably 4 or 5 at least. Depends on the boom bots, but
Loads of patrons being spawned. Boombot hits the Armor Smith and hits the face, so he keeps a lot of his board there.
Yeah. Whirlwind. Warsaw. Oh my god. Thankfully for Vortex he has the clear for this, but yeah.
This would have been devastating if he didn't have that Hellfire. So the Hellfire does seem to pay off here. What does he have to follow up with the Hellfire though?
I think it's just gonna be tap. Yeah, I mean 2 war songs and you've thrown away both the Froth things already, you've thrown away the Patron, so I feel like after the Hellfire there's not much that Kolento can do in general. Even though he has a full hand.
Oh,
even though he will acquire a full hand, I mean here we see it's gotta be the Ancient Watcher. Yeah.
And this could be the start of Vortex setting up that taunt wall, which will be a big struggle for Kolento to deal with. One execute already gone, so one of those pieces of hard removal removed. And when these giants start coming down and the wall is created, it's going to be a struggle. Like you said, Vortex really far ahead here. And it looks like he's playing double war song into the whirlwind, really fishing for an answer here.
This is all in though. He figures if he loses the war song, he's just out of the game. And he's going to go for the long shot here instead of trying to struggle for a longer time. But yeah, I mean, it's looking like Vortex is going to take game number 2 here in this series.
Does he attack? No. So he doesn't want to make these Molten Giants any cheaper. And the second Hellfire comes out. So even if another patron turn came down, the Hellfire's here. Although Vortex is looking to Hellfire both these guys out the way, doesn't really have a straight up answer to it. Gonna get a giant. They're gonna get 2 giants actually.
Yeah, I mean with a execute there can be some possibilities. I like the tap. Oh yeah, well done to him. Seeing that.
0 mana, 8/8, very powerful. Gets the Sun Fury down with it. Wouldn't have been able to do that if he didn't tap. So well played from Vortex. Very good mechanical play from him.
Now we saw a brawl from, I believe it was Powder earlier. Maybe Kolento running a brawl. That'd be good here.
Kolento still has an opportunity to find this brawl if he is running it. He runs the slam, drawing a card. Cruel Taskmaster isn't the answer. He could Acolyte Cruel, but even if he did have a brawl, he wouldn't have enough mana to deal with it.
Yeah, Vortex is 2 of lethal. He actually has lethal with Alexstrasza, what am I talking about? Be interesting. I don't think Kolento is expecting that.
Really aggressive addition to this Handlock. The Handlock will do its job here. Handlock will defeat the deck which it probably lines up best with. So it's looking like Vortex will take the game with this Alex Straza, a very kind of old school pick for Handlocks, but it's worked in his favor here. Although, do you think Alex would have made much of a difference? Do you think he was already in line to win this game?
I think he's going to win no matter what happened like, in this position. I mean, yeah, he could also just have taunted up there and played safely and
played a heal bar.
Fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. So Vortex taking the game off Kolento, tying up 1-1. So Vortex showing he's not out of this game just yet. You know, like you said, he's the underdog of this of the tournament almost. You know, he's an up and comer. Be able to take a game off someone like Kolento, you know, that could be a confidence boost for him. That could be what he needs to go forward and take this game.
They both have Patron left. Which is interesting, I feel like, for, I mean, it might even be a Patron Mirror. I think that would be an interesting match as Kolento is so strong in the Patron Mirror. We have, I believe, it's, we have Hunter, I think, for
they're both running the same lineups, yeah. They're both running the Hunter Warlock Warrior. The try-hard lineup, I guess, of Conquest. Bringing those super powerful decks. But there's a lot to play for here. There's cash, there's qualification for events, both in Germany and in China. So there's a lot to play for here. You want to bring your best decks. You want to bring those decks that are going to guarantee you get these spots. So we've seen Priest and Rogue from Kolento in his past events, ESL Legendary Season 2 and in Star Ladder, but he's not bringing, he's taking the gloves off this event. He wants to win.
Oh, for sure. I think if you look at the decks left though, you know, Hunter for Vortex and Warlock for Kolento, aside from the Patron, I feel like Vortex may be in a bad position, you know, especially if there's going to be a Zulok. So Vortex though, not liking his Q, he's going for the Hunter against the Warrior. Even though it's Hunter against Warlock, I feel like Warrior would have been stronger here overall for Vortex. I think, yeah, you have to figure out that Kolento's going to go Warrior as well. Why would he go Warlock?
And we see another Hybrid Hunter from another player here. Hybrid Hunter having a lot of popularity in this qualifier so far.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and he's running the Worgens as well. So the even more aggressive hybrid version. I mean, Worgen's kind of a recent addition into some of the hybrid decks, but it also can be a good little mind game, kind of tricking your opponent to thinking you're playing Face Hunter, and it might make him make some poor trap judgments. They might think it's explosive, but it ends up being freezing, which messes up their lines of play. So at the moment, Worgen in hybrid has a nice little surprise factor, I think.
I think, yeah, the Hammersmith definitely wouldn't have come down if Vortex hadn't gone for this scenario here. I would have liked Juggler better, honestly, than Klevsuka. Gotta admit.
Although he gets to keep his Worgen concealed, he does make himself vulnerable to a Whirlwind, but as a Patron Warrior, you don't really want to be throwing those Whirlwinds around too easily. You want them to have combo potential. So perhaps that's what he's thinking. Glaivezuka is going to be able to clear up the rest of this Armorsmith, but now he's got another one to deal with.
Actually, Armor Company I think is strongest, because both the Huffer and the Leok are going to be enough to clear. He gets the Misha, okay. If there's an Execute on board, it's not going to be as strong, but overall it should trade with the Armorsmith.
It does contest the Armorsmith. The Armorsmith is going to have to have some help from Kolento to be able to deal with this Misha. He has a Slam, so a Slam may be able to fish out an Execute, which would line up pretty perfectly. But
overall, without that, I mean, I like Vortex's position better here, honestly, than Kolento's. The War Songs are pretty dead, the Battle Rage is pretty dead. The Frothing is mediocre, whereas Vortex has all of the pressure here in this match. And the thing is, if you get both the Armorsmith out of the way in the beginning, you can't draw them later in the game to get you back into the game. And I don't think Kolento is running Shield Block, so he may be out of, you know, armor mechanics here.
Oh, he finds the Execute from the Slam. Line up.
How lucky is Kolento right now? Saved there with the top deck.
The Lords of RNG are smiling upon the Kolento today as he finds the Execute. Clears up that Misha. So how do you feel the board is now? Do you still think, looking at Vortex's hand, he still seems to have a stronger
I feel like it's even now, yeah. It's going to be pretty even right now, but Vortex should not be happy about how this is turning out. I think you have to go with the one drops though. If you miss both of them, it's almost lights out, but if you hit one, you're no position. It's there immediately. I mean, still though, like let's look at top deck Whirlwind. What is going on here, honestly? It's way too much RNG.
Kolento, in someone's favor today. You know, he's getting these cards when he needs them. And Vortex is starting to run out of steam here. He's going to have to rely on his hero powers. The Shredder is a very good pickup for him, though. It looks like he's getting a bit of luck himself with these top decks.
Still, I mean, the Hunt Keeper was weak the turn before. The third one drop isn't that strong. So, I mean, Vortex, if you're watching this again, you know, on the VOD, you should be, you know, at least a bit annoyed about all these draws from Kolento.
He's hoping this dagger lines up perfectly here. Goes to the face. He doesn't get the Throbbing Berserker.
Yeah.
Again, things looking
so lucky.
Yeah, it's looking good for him. And he picks up the Forson, so he gets to clear up the Knife Juggler here, gets a Battle Rage, draw more cards, and then next turn, he may have an opportunity then to play the Forson and start reducing some of these combo pieces.
Gets the Fireworks as well. Okay, this is just, yeah.
The God draws of Kolento.
Going from, yeah, like, Kolento being way behind to him being even to him being way ahead now. What a turnaround.
He finds the Ooze as well. Second Ooze we've had from the Shredder today.
And a dead card from Vortex here.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Vortex, honestly. Like,
he's kind of playing like a face hunter here. He's running out of steam. He might just have to play aggressively here.
Oh yeah, he has to go face, there's no question.
So he commits everything to the board here. If Kolento can find an answer to deal with most of this board,
I mean, anything can be good here, honestly. Yeah.
He'll be in the driving seat. So he's got a Gnomish here if he wants to fish for another card. Maybe look for another Whirlwind.
I think it's got to just be Trade and Emperor, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So he can clear most of the board here.
Turn to use, kill the 2-1 with a weapon. And, you're at 12 health with an Emperor on board. And all the cards you could ever want. Except for maybe kill command into bow, I don't know. You can do freezing trap, there's nothing.
Finds the freezing trap. Not the best pick up here. Kill command would have been a lot better.
I think among the worst actually to possibly get for Vortex here.
He needed a power play, or he needed something like a quick shot to help recharge his hand and push some damage further. So Kolento here taking advantage with that Forson. He's got more draw options here. He's probably going to want to start building some health, I imagine. He's probably going to want to armor up at some point. But he just goes straight for the trap here. He might have thought that was a explosive trap. He might have thought this was Face Hunter with Shredders, because he gives a very aggressive hand from the start, but...
Even slightly sloppy. I mean, if he's going to go for No Mission Inventor Warsong, why not go for the first and check the trap with the No Mission Inventor?
Oh wow, so he finds the Unstable Ghoul as well. Another card which is going to stop Vortex in his traps.
But still, honestly, I think it's a small misplay from Kolento. Yeah, going for the attack first.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, he could have... Well, of course, yeah, because the Warsong could have given him another No Mission Inventor, for example.
I think he may be feeling too confident here in this match. Yeah.
Or he thought it was explosive. He did attack face, he didn't attack the Creeper, so...
He's on the Shredder though, so he may have figured out something was up in terms of this being a hybrid. Now, I kind of like Vortex is saving the Juggler, honestly. Go face, put him at 8, top deck and unleash the Hounds and win the game, right? So it's gotta go.
And the Armor Smiths are gone as well, so there's no kind of immediate health gain for Kolento with like a Whirlwind and the Patrons and stuff, so it looks like Kolento's probably going to fish for some more cards here.
I kind of like this Despite Unstable Ghoul and Hero Power. Put him to 10, set up for another Patron or Frothing or just anything turn here. Going for the draw, don't mind that.
Now he's going to clear up the whole Creeper here, so he's going to make sure Kill Command isn't a threat unless he draws another beast.
Oh yeah.
That's very good for Kolento, and he gets the armor up as well if he chooses.
I think he's got to, the way he's playing right now. I think it's the correct play as well.
You know, this makes him quite vulnerable to Unleash the Hounds, but that Unstable Ghoul is such a problem for that card.
So he wants to play around the Beast Charge, and I don't mind that as well.
And there's the Kill Command, so clearing up that Beast was a very good play from Kolento. He played around that card, which could have given him a little bit of trouble.
But yeah, I think he just had to pass.
Ouch. Turn 9, shot pass. You never want to see that as a hunter.
No, what do you want to see? Yeah.
So you certainly set up Death Spite this turn, right?
I think you have to, yeah.
He's got Cruel Taskmaster as well to push 2 extra damage if he needs it. So I think a Death Spite Maybe not a cruel taskmaster this turn, but he's got it available. He needs to push out just a little bit more damage to finish off his hunter. So yeah, get the armor up as well. So this hero power is just completely being neutralized by Kolento with his own hero power. So he's not getting any mileage at all, which Hunter really needs to do with his hero power.
Yeah, Kolento is just playing this as safe as possible, and when you're this far ahead, that's just how you have to play. Abusive strategies can do nothing, so it looks like Kolento's going to be taking game number 3 here.
Yeah, it's looking strong for Kolento. Well played to him. I think he played exceptionally well there, but I also think Vortex played to the strength of his hand, but he kind of fell short to some good top decks from Kolento. I mean, the slam into the execute was just massive. Just a massive swing.
I actually want to disagree with you a bit. I feel like Kolento made 1 or 2 sloppy mistakes, which Kolento generally I wouldn't thought he'd make. I mean, with the Emperor, there were some minor errors in the beginning. I'm just not sure about this one. I feel like, I feel like Vortex played it pretty perfectly, but he was just kind of put out of it just by the draws.
Yeah, he fell short, which was unfortunate for him. But yeah, I forgot about that Vorson. But I think it was due. If it was either down to Kolento being a bit sloppy, or he thought it was explosive, which could have potentially be what he thought, because he thought it was. But it looks like Kolento's going to finish off this game now, going to spawn extra Patron, push some more damage, and he's going to go 2-1 up. So Vortex still has a mountain to climb here.
But I mean, in general, like if you're going to be playing I guess a hunter with a shredder, you're generally not going to be running a explosive trap. So I think it's been more likely that you're running a freezing trap in that position. So
I actually have heard talks of some face hunters including 1 or 2 shredders, just to be able to challenge the board a little bit better if they need to. And it's a stickier minion. It's a good minion. We all know how good Shredder is.
Oh yeah, Gara actually played a hybrid hunter with Shredder in Archon this week, and he did really well with it. Believe he was maybe thinking about bringing it here as well. But obviously we'll never know about that. But yeah, but that one runs freezing trap though, not the explosive trap. So 1 for Kolento. He only has the he actually only has the Warlock left. So interesting to see what type of Warlock it is. I think now we're gonna have to look at Vortex bringing the deck that has the easier mulligan, because he doesn't know what type of Warlock it is. So if we look at his Hunter, probably gonna be an easy mulligan, against the Warlock. You just bring early stuff. But whereas Patron, you might mulligan a bit differently against Handlock than you would against Sue. Well,
this is why we were discussing earlier, the strength of Warlock in this format, with so many viable archetypes for Warlock right now. Melee-lock, mid-lock, there's a more aggressive version of mid-lock, which is traditional Zoo. Some people even play that, and then you have Handlock. So there's a range of decks that Handlock can bring to this format, and if you don't know what it is, what do you mulligan against? Do you keep BGH for Handlock? But BGH doesn't really help you against mid-lock in the early game, so it's very tough to mulligan against.
I actually keep BGH against Warlock in general, because it's also good against Dota Boom and Mal'Ganis in the mid-lock. But I feel, people look at when they're 2-1 down, and their opponent only has 1 deck. It doesn't matter which deck you bring, but it does matter if it's against a Warlock or a Warrior, because you don't know which type of deck it is. Also against Paladin, I guess, now with the new Aggro Paladin. But yeah, we should be jumping into the game shortly here. But yeah, Vortex should be feeling the pressure. I feel like he is in a doable scenario, though.
Yeah, Warlock. Knowledge is power in this game, especially in competitive format. The more information you have on your opponent and kind of their tendencies and what kind of decks they choose, the more advantage you have going into these kind of mulligans. If you know that Kolento more favors mid-lock over Handlock,
I think he does, yeah.
You can make the call, and if you make that call correctly, it could ultimately pay off, and it's usually worth taking that risk, I think.
I feel like in general, though, the Hunter that Vortex is bringing has the same mulligan against both Warlocks, so there's no reason not to bring the Hunter first. Whereas the Patron would probably not keep frothing against Handlock, but it would keep it against mid-lock. For example, would probably keep the Fiery Warlocks against mid-lock, but wouldn't keep it against Handlock there.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So the game is coming up. What Warlock has Kolento brought? I'm predicting mid-lock. You?
I think mid-lock as well. It's more likely, but I would have liked him to bring Handlock. I think he's stronger in this scenario.
All right, so we see a Doomguard, we see an Imp Gang boss. It's definitely mid-lock.
Oh yeah. So I think that opens up a lot of possibilities for Vortex. I think mid-lock is, in my opinion, slightly unfavored against Patron and slightly favored against this Hunter. So if Vortex can get a strong start with the Hunter, I feel like he can take the series overall.
So he finds himself a Lepinome. Good, nice one. He's got 2 options for 1-drops here, and he gets a Knife Juggler. Kolento's hand, however, he needs to find some stuff to contest these early drops from Vortex.
I like keeping the Owl. I would like him to keep the Gangpus as well. Just
Yeah,
a
he's got the
personal
coin.
preference, yeah.
He's got the coin as well, so he has the option to play that on turn 2. All right, Walking Infiltrator comes down. It can't be contested just yet. Hidden
He's gotta
away.
be the abusive, yeah, and Kolento realizes that and goes for the abusive on turn 1.
No, abusive on turn 1 sometimes is just necessary, especially in some matchups. And you see hunters do it all the time as well. They just want to be able to contest, say, a Knife Juggler. Or a Knife Juggler is like the biggest threat, but Mad Scientist as well.
Like him keeping the Owl, and it's going to come in handy now for Kolento to have the Owl. I mean, Animal Companion is going to be massive, but if it's going to be a Leok or a Huff, it's going to be bad. Yeah, oof. He has to go face, but still, I mean, this is vulnerable to a Implosion.
Will he roll a 4 on Implosion, or is he going to go for the Knife
He has to go for
Juggler?
the Leok, I feel like, because he can trade the Owl anyway. Right?
Oh, wow. Kolento gets a 4.
So
RNG
lucky again, honestly.
I know.
Like,
RNG has been in his favor today. Kolento finding all the luck he needs.
I feel like sometimes when you have the top 5 in the world, top 5 players here, like, you know, Kolento, Firebat, like, players don't tend to notice as much when they get lucky because they assume it's just skill, you know, which is most often correct. But yeah, 3 again, so well done. Yeah, I mean, what this contest is, I don't even know.
So no Unleash the Hounds for Vortex. It would punish this play, but doesn't have it available to him. And these imps are going to wreck some havoc. They've got powerful Whelmans ready as well. So he does have an option to burst down a bit with some powerful Whelmans and make a massive Void Terror. That could be something you can consider, but it's looking really good for Kolento right now.
Yeah, just getting every coin flip here in a row. I mean, Vortex hasn't been playing bad, honestly, overall in this series. I feel like, yeah, it's just not been in his favor, the RNG in this one.
How would you feel as Vortex right now? You've just seen in this whole set, Kolento find an answer after answer for everything you play. RNG is just so much in his favor. Do you think that is affecting his state of mind in this match?
It shouldn't, you know. He should just be focusing on the game. Like, afterwards, you may get, like, a bit annoyed, you know, but at least a pro player should not be that emotional that he has to, you know, be tilted or start to think about RNG in the middle of a series. He just be thinking about his next turn and his next game and his next deck choice, you know.
Yeah, composure is something a player needs to learn as he develops into a pro player. But some players are quite naturally emotional and driven, and sometimes it's very hard to turn that off because it's part of who you are. A good example is Powder and Faramir. I've seen them go through all sorts of emotions playing live. RDU's another player who I've seen become quite emotional in his game. So it's a natural part of who you are, and sometimes it's hard to turn it off. But to get to the next level, sometimes you need to be able to control that.
I feel this is actually a misplay. I think he should have gone for Arcane Golem and no, he was 1 mana off. What am I saying? Yeah, this is a bit painful. Goes for the power overwhelming on the egg.
Double power overwhelming.
Oh yeah. This is not bad at all.
Goes for face, he's not afraid. Face is the place, says the hunter, but the Warlock also lives by that motto at the moment, making a massive Void Terror, lots of Void cards in this game. And pumping tremendous amount of damage to him. 8 damage, incredible.
Except for an Owl, is there any way for him to get back into this? I mean, Paladin Sweater, I don't even know what key you can draw here.
And he has a Dr. Boom on turn 7 as well.
Yeah.
He's just sitting on a Dr. Boom ready. With this board, it's just...
About as perfect as they could have gone for Kolento here, you know. I mean, he's not playing bad at all, but I don't know, this is painful to watch.
You have to feel for Vortex.
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to feel for him. But he's still fighting.
Brought good decks, played well, and just things not panning out at all.
I mean, I had no doubt Vortex would not play well. I've seen him play in other events other than Assembly, and I did note during those events that he had very good play. You know, decision making was top form, but RNG kind of just took it away from him today and gave Kolento a big edge going forward. So Dr. Boom.
Yeah, seeing the Dr. Boom, what can you do as Vortex here? Just gotta pray. I don't even know what you can top deck. Like, unleash the Hounds into into kill command. Probably be close.
So he plays Glaive Zuka into Quick Shot, into Unleash the Hands,
Has to
into
go,
Innovate.
He has to go face as well. Like I feel like he has to go face with a quick shot. But what can he draw though? Second quick shot?
He can Quick Shot the dot to boom and trade, but it's not really a
Yeah.
winning strategy, is it?
He needs the top deck the owl, and it's just so unlikely. It's 10 technically now. He goes for face. Even with the second quick shot, that's it's not enough.
Such a tough decision for Vortex here. Does he take the risk with Quick Shot going face? He needs to kind of figure out what he can draw first. Or does he Quick Shot this Dr. Boom? He finds that owl, he'll make this pressure
He's going for the owl. Manageable. Doesn't draw the owl. Annoyatron, is that possible?
Doomsayer? We hoping for a Doomsayer here?
It wouldn't even work.
Oh no, it wouldn't it? It'd be the other start of the turn.
Oh yeah.
11, okay, so...
So Kolento takes this series here, 3-1.
Wow.
Kind of as expected, but I think we can't stress enough how lucky he got in game number 3 and 4 here. Really running away with the series, yeah.
He had a string of good draws. Vortex, as you said, did not play bad. He played the best he could for that match, but unfortunately for him, Kolento comes out on top with a 3-1 win. He took a win off him, though. That's a big step forward for him as a growing player, to be able to take a win off a player of his caliber in an event like this.
And to his credit also, I think he played as well as Kolento, if not better, in this series. It may be a bit weird to say that when it was 3-1, but if you look at how just the plays each turn, because obviously you can't prepare for, all of these tough decks that Kolento did end up getting. But yeah, I mean, looking at the next matchups as well, yeah.
So next up we have Show versus Hoi.
Hey, yeah, we were talking about that Danish pronunciation there for the Welsh. It's a bit rough, I guess.
Yeah, we've been trying to work on me pronouncing his name. Before I even knew his the correct pronunciation, I called him Hoj. That's how I kind of read it, and I've been corrected now, and it's Hoi?
Hey, yeah, it's really
okay,
good. Yeah.
Okay, I've been working on it. During the breaks, I've been practicing. I need to get this player name right because he's going to be showing up to a lot of events. So I don't want to be calling him Hoj. I don't want to offend him. And he's a fellow parrot lover. He has a parrot called Pidgey. And
oh, really?
Yeah, my parents has tons of parrots. So I like that about him. He has parrots. So moving on to that, we'll have that coming up very shortly. We're going to go to a quick break. Let's have a quick look at the brackets to see where the players are.
So Kolento going through 3-1, and he's going to be facing Hoi or Show now in the next series. I wonder who he would prefer facing. I think they're both really going to be strong players, both Nordic. But yeah, I think for Hoi, when you have a letter with a Danish, have a name with a Danish letter, you just gotta figure that people won't be able to pronounce it. So he actually changed it from Hoi to Hoi, I guess. I don't know how you pronounce that. The one he has got right now.
I can barely say his name now. Any kind of alterations, I'm not going to know. But yeah, Kolento actually has an edge against Hoi with a win against him at Via Game, whereas it's 1-1 for him in Show in competitive play, where he took a win in Heroes of the Cards 1, but a loss in Deck Wars Season 2. So I guess Hoi would be probably the best lineup to him. But we're going to go for a quick break before our next game, so don't go anywhere. We've got more Hearthstone coming at you.